The forest looked normal when we entered it. That's what makes this story so difficult to explain. No strange fog, no mysterious shadows, no abandoned cabins, just a quiet stretch of wilderness in northern Montana where my friends and I planned to spend a weekend hiking and camping before returning to college. Even now, years later, I can still remember the exact moment everything started to feel wrong. Not dangerous, not terrifying, just wrong. Like reality itself had shifted slightly out of place. And by the time we realized what was happening, it was already too late. There were four of us, me, Ryan, Ethan, and Jake. We'd been friends since high school and took camping trips almost every summer. Nothing extreme, just enough adventure to escape phones, traffic, and responsibilities for a few days. Ryan was the planner. Jake was the joker. Ethan carried enough survival gear to survive an apocalypse, and I was usually the one filming everything for memories. The first day was perfect. Blue sky, cool air, birds singing overhead. The trail wound through tall pine trees that stretched endlessly toward the mountains. Everything felt peaceful, normal. We hiked for nearly 6 hours before finding a clearing beside a small river. It was the perfect place to camp. As we unpacked our gear, Jake pointed toward an old wooden sign partially hidden among the trees. Anyone else see that? We walked closer. The sign was weathered and cracked. Most of the paint had faded, only a few words remained visible. Time Creek Trail. Below it, someone had scratched something into the wood. Not carved, scratched, as if they had been desperate. The message read, "Don't stay after dark." Jake laughed. Somebody watched too many horror movies. Ryan rolled his eyes. Probably teenagers messing around. None of us thought much about it. We should have. That evening felt unusually long. At first, it seemed like a good thing. The golden sunlight lingered between the trees. Hours passed, yet the sky barely changed. When I checked my watch, it showed 7:45 p.m. An hour later, it showed 8:50 p.m., but the sun still looked as though it was late afternoon. Ryan noticed it too. "Doesn't it seem weirdly bright?" Ethan shrugged. "Maybe because we're farther north." It sounded reasonable, yet something about it bothered me. The sunlight felt frozen, like time wasn't moving normally. Eventually, darkness arrived, but it came suddenly. One moment the forest glowed gold. The next moment everything was black. No sunset, no gradual transition, just darkness. Instantly, like someone had flipped a switch. The change startled all of us. Jake laughed nervously. Okay, that was weird. Nobody disagreed. That night, I woke up around 2 a.m. At least that's what my phone said. The campfire had burned out. The forest was silent. Too silent. I sat up inside my sleeping bag. Something felt off. Then I noticed Ryan sitting outside his tent. He stared into the darkness, motionless. I crawled out. "Ryan?" No response. I approached him carefully. "Hey," he blinked, as if waking from a dream. "You hear that?" I listened. Nothing. "No." Ryan looked disturbed. "I swear I heard people talking." My stomach tightened. "Where?" He pointed deeper into the trees. They sounded close. Neither of us heard anything after that. Eventually we returned to sleep. But I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been watching us. The next morning brought another strange discovery. My camera showed footage I didn't remember recording, hours of it. The timestamps made no sense. Videos appeared between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., yet I had been asleep. Every clip showed the forest. Trees, shadows, darkness, nothing unusual, except one thing. The timestamps skipped. One video ended at 3:14 a.m., the next began at 5:47 a.m., then another started at 4:03 a.m., then 6:12 a.m. The timeline was completely scrambled. Ryan stared at the screen. "Maybe your camera glitched." Maybe, but deep down I knew something wasn't right. We decided to continue hiking. The trail followed the river deeper into the wilderness. Hours passed. At least we thought hours passed. Eventually Ethan checked his watch. "Guys." "What?" "It's only been 20 minutes. We stopped. Confused. There was no way. We had walked for what felt like 2 hours. Maybe more. Yet every clock showed almost no time had passed. Jake forced a laugh. "That's impossible." Nobody answered. Because we all felt it. The strange stretching sensation, as if time moved differently here. By afternoon, things became worse. We found another hiker. Or at least we thought we did. A man stood beside the trail about 50 yards ahead. Tall, thin, wearing old camping clothes. His back faced us. "Hey!" Ryan called. The man didn't move. We approached. Slowly, carefully. Then the man stepped behind a tree and vanished completely. The area beyond the tree was empty. No trail, no footprints, nothing. We searched for nearly 20 minutes. The man was gone. Jake stopped joking after that. That night, none of us felt comfortable. The forest seemed different. The trees looked taller, the shadows darker. Every sound echoed strangely, as if distances no longer made sense. Around midnight, Ethan suddenly sat upright. Did anyone else hear that? We listened. Footsteps. Far away, crunching leaves, slow, deliberate, moving around our camp. The sound circled us, again and again and again. Yet whenever we shined flashlights into the darkness, nothing was there. The footsteps continued until dawn, never getting closer. Never moving away, just circling, watching, waiting. Morning should have arrived, but it didn't. Hours passed. The sky remained dark. Our watches showed 7 a.m., then 8 a.m., then 9 a.m. Still darkness. Panic began spreading through the group. This isn't possible. Ryan's voice trembled. No one argued, because we were all seeing it. The clocks moved. Time passed, yet the sun never rose. Then suddenly, daylight exploded across the forest. Instantly. No sunrise. No dawn. Just daylight. The same unnatural transition we'd witnessed before. That was when we decided to leave. Immediately. No debate, no discussion. We packed our gear and started back toward the trailhead. The route should have taken 3 hours. It took 12, or maybe 20, or maybe none at all. Even today, I don't know. The watches stopped agreeing. My phone displayed different times every few minutes. 11:17 a.m., 8:42 a.m., 2:05 p.m., 9:31 a.m. The numbers changed constantly. Nothing made sense. Then Jake disappeared. 1 second he walked beside me. The next he was gone. Just gone. No scream. No sound. Nothing. We spun around. Jake! Silence. Fear exploded through the group. We searched frantically, calling his name, running through trees, checking every direction. After nearly an hour, we found him, standing alone in a clearing, looking confused. Where have you been? Jake stared at us. We disappeared. His face turned pale. I've been looking for you. None of us spoke, because his watch showed a different date. Not time. Date. According to Jake, 2 days had passed. According to us, only 20 minutes. That was the moment real terror set in, not fear of animals, not fear of getting lost, fear that reality itself wasn't functioning correctly. The deeper we moved through the forest, the stranger things became. Sometimes we'd walk for hours and arrive exactly where we'd started. Sometimes we'd walk for 10 minutes and discover miles had passed. One stretch of trail repeated 3 times. The exact same fallen tree, the exact same rock, the exact same broken branch. Again, and again, and again, as though the forest itself was stuck in a loop. Near evening, we reached an abandoned ranger station. Relief washed over us. Finally, civilization, help. We ran toward it. The building looked decades old. Dust covered everything, broken windows, collapsed roof. Yet inside we found something disturbing, a journal. The final entry was dated 23 years earlier. It read, "The forest changes time. If you're reading this, leave immediately. Do not trust clocks, do not follow voices, and whatever you do." The entry ended abruptly. The rest of the page was torn away. Ryan looked terrified. "We need to get out now." Nobody disagreed. That night, we heard voices. Not random sounds, not distant echoes. Voices. Our own voices, calling from the darkness. I heard myself perfectly. "Help!" Then again. "Over here." My blood froze. The voice sounded exactly like me. Ryan heard his own voice too. So did Ethan. The forest was mimicking us, trying to lure us away. We stayed together, holding flashlights, ignoring the calls. All night long, the voices continued, begging, screaming, crying, sounding exactly like us. By morning, Ethan looked exhausted. None of us had slept. The forest felt heavier somehow, oppressive, like it wanted us to stay. Then we saw something impossible. People. Dozens of them. Standing among the trees, watching us, men, women, children, all silent, all motionless, their faces expressionless. Their clothing came from different decades. Some looked modern, others looked ancient, like photographs from another century. When we blinked, they vanished, every single one. Hours later, we finally found the trailhead, or what looked like the trailhead. The parking lot appeared exactly as we'd left it. Our truck waited. Sunlight filled the sky. Everything seemed normal. For the first time in days, hope returned. We climbed into the truck. Ryan started the engine, and we drove away. No one spoke for nearly an hour. Eventually, we reached a gas station. The elderly cashier stared at us. "You boys okay?" "Yeah." "You sure?" I nodded, then noticed a newspaper beside the counter. The date made my stomach drop. 3 weeks. 3 entire weeks had passed. We stood frozen, unable to speak. According to us, we'd spent less than 3 days inside that forest. But the world said 21 days had vanished, gone, completely. Search parties had been looking for us. Our families thought we were dead. Missing posters had been printed. Police reports filed. People had given up hope. Yet for us, it felt like only a weekend. Years have passed since then. We never returned. Never spoke publicly about what happened. Never found an explanation. But strange things still occur. Sometimes my watch stops at exactly 8:47 p.m., the same time it froze inside the forest. Sometimes I wake up convinced only minutes have passed, only to discover hours are gone. And sometimes, late at night, I hear my own voice calling from somewhere far away, soft, distant, lost. Still trapped in those woods, waiting for me to come back. And the worst part? A few months ago, I searched online and found recent photographs of Time Creek Trail. The warning sign is still there, the same words scratched into the wood. But now there's something new underneath. A fresh message. One that wasn't there when we visited.